Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far, and if not, I hope to make that a little bit better, as I'm going to share with you how you can find real estate news, the likes of which will keep you clued up and propelled through many things, including, a real estate degree at the Uni of Reading. During this video, I plan to list the sources where I get my real estate news from and tell you a little bit about them and why I use them. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Actually first, just a quick disclaimer, my first few points do actually all link to the Uni of Reading, so if you're not at the Uni of Reading already or / about to join, then I suggest you skip to tip 4, where I switch to broader avenues that are open to a wider range of people, and that'll be from tip 4 onwards if you want to jump to this point, which will be timestamped down in the description box down below. So the first avenue I get my news from is lecturer tidbits. Now say, when engaging with lecturers during interactive sessions or when listening to their pre-recorded ones, they may mention a topic that's happening at the moment. So say valuers may now need to undergo more stringent due diligence than they once had to. For this reason, underpinned by these trends in the market, which are dictated by these factors. The lecturer may then turn around and say, if you want to learn more about this topic, you can do so through checking out this article, this blog, this news source, etc. Which you can Google and then take 5 minutes to read, and bang, there's some real estate news in your life. And if they don't mention anything like that, just the trend, you can do that off your own bat. You can go and Google. So, why do valuers now have to do more stringent due diligence? Wow, I'm having trouble with that word today. I'm going to leave that take in because you wouldn't believe the trouble I'm having. Due diligence. Bear with me here. And there'll be a whole raft of sources that can come up you can then explore. There's nothing stopping you finding your own news sources like that once you've been fed the breadcrumbs. The second source is through attending industry insight talks held at the Uni of Reading. This is a lot like the tip I just mentioned, but intensified. The uni gets individuals who work within the real estate industry and gets them to come in and talk about one specific part of the sector. So say one that sticks in my mind was CBRE came in to talk about technology in the office environment and how that was moving forward and how it was changing. This in itself was a news update and a brief of which way the industry was moving. On top of that, these talks usually contain a few good stats or cases that you can then jot down and say use later in an essay argument. They also provide you a networking opportunity to speak to the presenter at the end of the event. During this network time, they may also give you the names of further sources or news articles where you can go away, again, completely pressure-free, and explore these ideas in your own time, if you're particularly curious about this part of the industry. The third direct link between my uni and the real estate news I receive is through my star mentor. This is somebody who I was matched with through the university's mentor system, and they work in the industry and they are a professional day in, day out. And if I ever have a question, even if it's not related to his topic, he seems to either know the answer or he seems to know the route to get to an answer. One example was, I wanted to know more about the trend of co-living, so he was able to send me through on email 4 or 5 sources on that topic, and I was able to go through it and find out, okay, right, I didn't know this was happening, I didn't know that was happening, and it really helped to bolster my knowledge in that area. Now, moving on to my fourth news source, and probably my main news source at that. That is CoStar. Some people love them, some people hate them. Now, my view's going to be biased. I was lucky enough to get 4 weeks work experience there, and I can't thank them enough for that. I am so very grateful, so I'm definitely in the love camp. I've actually worked within their news department. I've seen what's going on. I've seen the day-to-day workings, and it was fantastic. And they've got a great platform to deliver news. They break the real estate industry down into different categories, which is great for me, being keen on residential. That normally gets crowded out by commercial news, but here again, it's all separated, and they've got, say, a finance section. And they also have a trending list to show you what the overriding factors are that could affect all the industries, as well as, I believe, trending for different topics. So trending for residential, trending for financial, trending for offices, trending for industrial. I hope to have this up on screen now, but I'm not sure my editing level's quite there yet. I hope so, fingers crossed. They also have a search news function, which allows you to go back in time and see any of their previous sources. So say if you're trying to look to find out about one specific company or one specific site, they can help you there. But essentially, I set aside time every week to make sure that I'm looking at news on the CoStar site. They also have market reports which break the UK down into tiny segments and report on how each different one is doing, displaying and analysing the numbers before predicting how they will change moving forwards, which is really handy for specific uni projects. So when you're trying to find comparables in the Thames Valley, I could honestly do a whole video talking about just CoStar itself, but I'm going to move on to another source which I acquire news from regularly, well in this case daily, and that's LinkedIn. I make sure that what's coming up on my feed is real estate related and only real estate related. And then every day I dedicate 5 minutes just to jumping on and scrolling through it. And then it will show me cases that have happened on a specific level. So say fitting out of an office or the achieving of planning permission on land, or changes to a company or changes to a governing body, as well as little snippets of what changes are happening in the market and what may be underpinning these changes. And that gives me my daily news hit, if you like. Have We Got Property News For You is another source that I like to use, although admittedly I'm a couple of weeks behind at the moment. They're a YouTube channel that take a lighter spin on the world of planning, normally presenting cases that have a particularly interesting court ruling, before explaining the implications this may have on the rest of the real estate industry. They then tend to talk about a more serious issue with a guest speaker, which will change from week to week depending on who the guest is. But mostly the regulars tend not to take themselves too seriously and again put quite a light spin on things, despite delivering rather important messages. They're a great channel and they also do a fair bit for charity, so I can't really recommend them enough. Moving on, when I apply to a company for say work experience, I will also tend to Google their name, also search it on the CoStar database like I mentioned, as well as checking out their company website. Now, this is partly to have something to talk about during an interview, but more say to do with, is that the sort of company that I want to work for? And what are they doing and what are they looking at, where are they moving, etc. Along with the news portion of their own website. And if I was at all possible to gain an experience with them, which of the particular parts of the company I'd like to go into, which projects were they doing that I'd like to see more of. This helps me to see how companies are thinking and where they're positioning themselves away from the theory side of real estate. Going back to news sources that I go through on a weekly basis, I also look at Farmers Weekly. Now, I take rural diversification as a module, so this is very useful in giving me cases that I can use in that, but also it allows me to see which trends and pressures are particularly affecting the farming world at the moment, which in turn may indicate which land is coming up for sale for real estate development. On this note of getting news on deeper trends that are underlying the real estate market, I also listen to Amplify Trading, who are another YouTube channel, and they do a daily macro briefing, as well as a weekly podcast. They tend to focus on the macro issues that are affecting mainly the UK and the US, but they also mention other world markets. I really like the way they synthesize news and make it easy to understand. This is what's happening, this is the effect it could have, this is to look out for. Bang, get that, move on with my day. Perfect. I also try to read the FT and the Economist to further my understanding in this area, but I don't read these enough, particularly the Economist, meaning I normally just rely on the FT and Amplify. On to my final news source, and that is the EGI podcasts. I don't listen to all of them as they do cover a wide range of different topics, but I try to listen to as many as possible, and I used to do it when walking to lectures or from lectures on my own. Although admittedly without this walking element and the travelling element I am falling behind on that, but they were very insightful when I was listening to them. Now there are a number of other sources that I would love to use if I had more time, so I'm going to list those now for you because I've heard great things about them or I know great things about them myself, so if I can share it, I'm going to share it. And that is that I would read the FT from cover to cover. I would read the Economist more often. EGI, as well as their podcasts, they also have an online service where you can get news. I believe it's like the CoStar one. I would definitely look into that. And I would look into Property Weekly, which is again the same, another source that was originally a paper that's now gone online. But yeah, that's pretty much a roundup of all the news sources that I use to fill me in on the real estate world. I guess I should also mention that I use the TLDR news channels for politics, and this kind of affects real estate. But I tend to use that more away from this and just to understand which direction the UK is going and what is underlying the UK political system. I particularly like them as they tend to present without any biases, just presenting the cold hard facts, allowing you, the viewer, to make your own mind up. But if I say any more, I'm going to sound like an advertisement or promotion, so I'll leave it there. And I believe that's all I have to share with you today. Thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.